Padded Cell Productions.
There it is again. It just won't stop. It sounds closer now. But who can really tell? Not me. It's not a dream, and too much has happened for me to think I might just be insane. Johnny's dead, and I'm the only one who knows why. I'm not going out that way. I'll kill myself first. God forgive me if he has any mercy left after all I've done. Probably not. I expect I'll be burning in hell alongside Johnny before the night is out. We were so bored.
Anubis, look what I found in this book.
Oh, this thing's heavy. And you're positive this is the real Necronomicon?
Yeah, probably. How many books do you know of that are bound in human skin? Look at the page, though.
If something was off the beaten path, if something was morbid or wrong, we wanted it in our lives. The darker, the more taboo, the better. Oh, a scythe. Very nice. Is that made of human bone?
It is. Shaped and sharpened in the bowels of an ancient monastery at the cruel hands of the Adoromosu monks.
Are they the ones that removed their own eyes and tongues and dedicated their lives to bodycraft?
Yes. They used to take newborns and bend their arms and legs at birth very slightly, then more and more as they grew older, so that the bones would bend and fuse in interesting ways. The handle on that beauty you're looking at was probably cut directly from the bodies of several still-living children, mutated into inhuman shapes.
Oh, listen to this. This Aratamusu artifact, known as the Holy Reaver, was used primarily to remove the wombs of pregnant women, in the interest of taking the souls of their unborn children to fuel demonic and necromantic rituals. It is said that even touching the edge of the crescent blade is enough to break skin and contract a hellish affliction of the blood.
I would love to get my hands on that.
For the museum?
Well, we're not going to harvest wheat with it, are we?
It says here its presence was last documented in a thieves' mausoleum in an abandoned church outside Dongjiang.
Then I suppose we'd best get packing.
This was what we did, more or less. When we met at university, I was studying the more barbaric customs hinted at in previous cultural anthropology courses, while he was studying occultism. All too soon, we were bored of this. We left university and managed to find a dilapidated old manor house on the edge of a desolate moor. It was far enough outside of town to give us a modicum of privacy. There, we deepened our knowledge of matters esoteric and forbidden. Alternative personal aesthetics, drugs, extreme genres of music, and debaucheries with the fairer sex quelled our thirst for new heights of experience. For a time, at least.
This must be it.
How are we going to get in there?
Here, hold this.
But that time was all too short. When that lost its luster, we went deeper into depravity than most. Should we really be doing this?
Of course not. And thus, of course we must.
Yes, we became grave robbers.
Right here, over the ram skull. Does that look good to you?
Oh, demonic. Though not thematically consistent.
Oh?
Well, I mean, the ram skull does put one in mind of Satan. The scythe is obviously a tool of the Reaper, which is a Western concept, though not necessarily a Judeo-Christian one. And look, the designs along the shaft, those look more tribal than anything else.
It is a rather confused piece, isn't it? Perhaps here, on the mantel.
Ah, yes, that looks perfect. Oh, by the infernal princes, I love our museum.
Our museum was a ghastly place, chronicling perfectly our descent from youthful boredom into the ghoulish indecency that likely doomed Johnny to a horrible, screaming death, and likely holds the same in store for me.
Love is too strong a word, I'm afraid. It's a purely social construct, shallow and transparent, to trick the sheep-minded into marrying and buying Hallmark cards.
Yes, of course. I only mean...
Calm, companion mine. I know what you meant.
It was a vast space beneath our manor house, beneath even the basement. A large vaulted cavern with featureless grey stone, which we had immediately begun filling with things we valued above all else. Shelves and shelves of books with runic symbols or screaming faces instead of titles. Antique instruments of torture and surgery, some still bearing the stains of past use. There were incense burners and scented candles for our entire range of moods and temperaments. Everything from the gentle aromas of funeral lilies to the stench of the freshly opened grave, and everything in between. There were hangings and tapestries of silk and velvet, as well as wooden posts covered in sandpaper and protruding spikes to furnish our need for gentle caresses and sharp pains. There were instruments strung of dried human entrails stretched across yellowed pelvic bone and brittle rib cages, statues and paintings of demons, even displays of taxidermied corpses. We collected things repellent to all of the five senses, more and more over time, some of them taken quite literally from the cold, dead hands of their previous owners.
Anubis, look what I found in the book this time.
And we always wanted more. Before this unholy thirst led Johnny to his untimely demise, and me to the horrifying resignation that sees my hands shaking as I write this, it led us to Holland. Specifically, to an old abandoned churchyard in Holland, unhallowed ground, sagged and decaying fences, grave markers illegible.
Here,
How do you know? There's no headstone.
I can hear it. Can't you?
I hear... something. You're right, it beckons. Let us dig. Bats! Give a... Oh, God!
I think a few of them just bit me.
Kill them, Anubis. Do you feel it? We're so close to unearthing something so forbidden that the night itself conspires against us to see it remains buried. The guardian bats, the glaring moon, the wind that seeks to tear us from our efforts, the vines that reach and grasp. To hells with them all. Dig. It must be ours. It will be ours.
Oh, yes. Yes, it will.
I remember the look in his eyes, The fire, an inferno that sawed and seared like the product of the furnaces of hell itself. It scorched reason and charred sanity to ash, carried away by the winds of his passions. I wondered at that moment, waist deep in the disturbed grave earth, the blood of a freakishly large bat spattered in my face as I cleaved it with my shovel. Did I look like that? I wonder if my eyes blazed like his. If my face, doubtless covered in the same dirt and viscera as his, held the same ghoulish visage. Of course it did. Why wouldn't it? And I loved it.
Oh, we found it. Johnny, look. Rotted through with mold in a few places, and studded with mineral deposits. But unmistakably the last resting place of our quarry.
Get back, Anubis. Give me room. Now come and see.
Oh, that's him then. The desecrator of the dead. The tomb raider. The thief 500 years in the ground for his blasphemous crimes.
He is in excellent condition. Look at that.
What? You're mad. Both his thigh and rib cage are crushed on the right side.
Well, he is in excellent condition for someone who is found on this very unhallowed spot, ripped and torn by some monstrous thing.
Fair.
Look at his skull, Anubis. It is flawless. I hope I look this way when I'm 500 years dead.
You look that way now.
Ha ha. Look at those teeth. Long, sharp, perfect. Those empty eye sockets.
I bet they burned once the way yours do whenever you find something particularly fiendish.
Whoa, Johnny, move your elbow. What is that?
A bit like that, yes. Ooh, what is this?
I saw it first. Let me see.
Whoa, easy. Here.
Odd. It's an amulet. Carved jade. Oriental style, I'd say. But what's this design, though?
Turn it a bit. I can't see. Ah, a winged hound.
Oh, I think it's a sphinx.
Sphinxes don't have wings, do they?
Well, they don't have dog faces either. By Belial, look at those slavering jaws.
Whatever it is, it means business. Move your finger. There on the base, can you read that inscription?
No, but further down at the bottom there, look, a skull. Almost like a brand or signature.
Now that I recognize.
You do? What is it?
Not by name. Not any name I can pronounce in any case. But it is the symbol of an ancient Central Asian cult. They who vex and gnaw upon the dead. Basically, they fucked and ate corpses.
Oh, delightful. I vote we take the amulet and let the skull be.
Yes, agreed. Let's leave the old boy to his rest.
Oh, not them again.
Leave them to their unholy nourishment. We have what we came for.
Something followed us back from that forsaken churchyard in Holland. And we didn't know it at the time. Didn't suspect. We felt some quiet yet persistent trepidation, but we discounted it as normal for the life we had chosen for ourselves. Indeed, we usually did feel on edge, thrilled to entrench ourselves in such blasphemy, and the retribution, both righteous and wicked, that we imagined nipped at our heels. But this was different somehow.
Oh, what? Who's there? Johnny, what the hell would you want this late? Oh, come in. Are you there? Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? It's me.
Of course it is. Come in.
Did you just knock on my door?
The four princes of hell, Anubis, why would I knock on your door? It's 3 a.m.
Yes, not a usual time for you or anyone else to be knocking at my door.
Indeed not.
Because someone most assuredly did. Loudly and repeatedly. And then they laughed.
Really now?
Yes, really.
Well, I'm afraid there's nothing for it now but to go back to bed. Whoever it was, they're not here anymore. Show me the filthiness beneath your crust. I want to lick the rot within. I want to feel you die on every thrust. What the hell? Anubis?
What? I'm right here.
Was that you?
No, it wasn't.
Well, it wasn't me.
Maybe doom has come for us at last.
Do you think so? Do you think hosts of avenging angels, or perhaps hungry shades, gather now to punish our wicked, wicked souls, Anubis?
I think they just might.
Well, come in then. You shan't find a more sinful pair than we. What have you got to?
What was that? What happened?
Nothing. Where did you get that?
John!
I don't know, Anderson. I saw the same nothing and heard the same sounds and felt the same breeze as you did. Now, for the love of all things evil and forbidden, put that thing back on the display rack. What are you, some kind of American?
What is going to happen to us?
Whatever it is, we deserve it. It will likely be agonizing and eternal.
You're mad.
For our sake, I hope you are too.
Days passed. We cycled between the fear of being alone and simply wishing that we were alone. We had specifically chosen this house for its seclusion, a seclusion that yawned deep and infinite in the light of recent events, when it was not being shattered by the sound of voices and fumblings in the dark. Sometimes we were certain we were going crazy. Joint hallucinations born of the unnatural excitements and stimuli we inflicted upon ourselves, but other times we took a perverse, almost masochistic pleasure in casting ourselves as fiends.
I think I'll go up to London tonight.
You can't be serious. Haven't you heard the sounds out there?
Of course I do, but I hear a hell of a lot more here in the house. I think I just need some air. You should come with me. Find yourself a nice bubbly. Maybe even a drink.
No. No, thank you. I prefer the warmth of the fire. I think the flashing of the city lights and all those damn zombies staring at their phones might drive me more mad than anything here.
I don't know how late I'll be out. You know what it means if you wake in the morning and find a scarf on my doorknob.
That you're going to take it and hang yourself in the basement.
I had until the end of my biscuit to contemplate whether or not I should have gone with him. I was sure that some of what we'd been experiencing was real, but I wondered, could it have been made worse by our self-imposed isolation? By the end of my snack, I realized I didn't care, while the distant howling that had been following us since we left that ghoul's grave still sounded, something we could no longer chalk up to imagination or the winds and the eaves. The house itself was silent, deathly silent, comfortingly silent. I don't remember falling asleep, but the next thing I knew, I was wrenched violently awake by a sound in the distance.
Johnny! Where are you? Put him down! Come back! I will give you back the amulet. Just put him down and leave us be.
A great winged shadow savaged my friend, and carried him away into the night. It was too indistinct to see clearly in the night, too vulgar to fully forget. I had every reason to think that a similar fate awaited me. The sounds in the house resumed, this time in earnest. Not a night passed where I wasn't plagued with dreams of ripping teeth and great forms obscuring any light that I might grasp, and that constant infernal baying. Every day was a test of my iron, living alone above the obscenity John and I had assembled through the tenure of our friendship. After only 3 days, I failed. I would not live there anymore, discontent to let our treasure trove one day be discovered. I set about reducing them to the broken pieces of filth they were, and consign them to flame. Without John's lunacy feeding my own, it all but dissolved. As I made my way to London, where I planned to find a nice, safe, well-lit place to live, and contemplate where to go next, the horror and shame I had done in pursuit of higher sensations hit me all at once. My stomach turned at the corpses we had collected, doubly so for the ones we had made ourselves. I hated myself for the coffins we had crabbed, for the tombs we had defiled, and the things we had said. I loathed my late friend for his perversions, and myself for following as he indulged them. The death that took Johnny still pursued me, even after I sold an emerald from a mad and murderous pharaoh in a pawn shop, and rented a room in the bustling heart of the city. I no longer had the mental strength to deny it, for I deserved it, and I knew that fully, still. Selfishly, I wondered if I might return the amulet and beg forgiveness. Of course, this sole chance for salvation was not for me. I had shattered it myself and set it ablaze alongside the rotted pates of long-dead noblemen and the flawless golden heads of preserved children and all manner of detritus best consigned to the earth and the ashes. And so I returned to the grave of that cursed ghoul with my spade, wishing only to abase myself before those blank, cavernous eyes, in the hopes of forgiveness. The bats left me alone this time, perhaps sensing the difference in my intent from before. Still the moon glared and the vines reached threateningly, and the wind moaned and a single spire atop the church jutted skyward like an accusing finger.
This isn't the same. Johnny, what has become of you? Johnny. Merciful fates. How are you still alive? And the amulet. That's impossible. I destroyed it. No, stay down! Back! I was wrong. And that's all right. Before Johnny was a curse-born beast of bone and wing and boasting the jaws of a cruel hellhound. He was a defiler of the living and the dead alike. And I expect the form from whom we took this damned trinket to be much the same. I suppose I am to make a similar transition. And that's fine. Forgiveness is not for such as we. And redemption's not within our reach. Even now, as I quake in dread anticipation of the violin that is drawing nearer and nearer with each passing moment. I see clearly now, and cannot feel the shame and revulsion that drove me back here. Because I enjoyed what we did, all of it. Let the piper extract his payment. When he finally deigns to shatter the window of this rented motel room, suicide is the one mortal sin, not upon Johnny's soul. Damned and charred though it may be, knowing what awaits me, I have no qualms about it. If there is a chance of oblivion rather than eternal torment, I will take it.